Hi, you are watching Arduino for Beginners, Ultrasonic Sensor. Today we're going to use ultrasonic sensor to measure distances. I'm going to explain how it works. The transmitter sends a signal, the signal bounces in the first object it finds, and then the signal comes back to the receiver. If we want to know the distance, we have to know the time the signal took to travel that distance. It's easy. Let's see how to program it. First, we have to set up the pins of our ultrasonic sensor. The trigger pin that will send the pulse, and the echo pin that will receive the pulse. Also the serial monitor, baud rate, and also declare those pins in the void setup. Trigger pin is output, and the echo pin input, and initialize the serial monitor. The next step is to tell the ultrasonic sensor to send a pulse and to calculate the time the pulse took to travel. We have to do it in the void loop. First, we write a low in the trigger pin to avoid jitters in the current, just for 2 microseconds. I write microseconds, delay microseconds, because the ultrasonic sensor works in microseconds. So now we set the trigger pin as height to send the pulse. It will be enough with 5 microseconds. Then we set the trigger pin back to low. And we will create a variable with long, because there is the microseconds are many digits, so we have to declare the variable with long. The variable will be called duration, and to calculate the time the sound takes to travel, we will use pulse in. We have to say what pin will receive the pulse, in this case the echo pin, and if we write high, the pulse in statement will wait to the echo pin to go high, and the echo pin will go high when the pulse get in the ultrasonic sensor. Now the next step is to print in the serial monitor if duration is 0. That happens when, for example, we unplug one of the cables of the ultrasonic sensor. When duration is 0, we will print the serial monitor, a line warning that the ultrasonic sensor can get a reading. For example, we can write sorry. We couldn't get a value from sensor. But in case we do have a reading, we will print the serial monitor what is the distance. Serial print distance and the distance is in centimeters. But between these two lines we have to print the distance. But how do we turn the microseconds into a current distance in centimeters? To do that, we will use a function I'm going to call microseconds to centimeters. I'm going to declare here a variable called microsecond to use it inside to use the microseconds variable inside the function, and microseconds we will tell the function to return microseconds divided per 29. 29 is the microsecond the sound takes to travel a centimeter, and divided per 2 because the sound travels twice, but we just need to get the distance of one travel, so we have to divide it per 2. And now we have to put the function here, microseconds to centimeter, and we have to turn from microseconds to centimeters the duration variable. So we write between the brackets duration. We also will print a delay of 200 milliseconds. And when you print in the serial monitor, you have to write the last line of just one line, ln, because ln means new line and will create a new line. If, for example, you wanted to write another thing in the serial monitor, and something here, you will have to write here the ln and delete the ln from here. So I think you understand this. You can play around with the serial monitor and you will realize what happens. Now I'm going to upload this sketch to Arduino, and we will see the serial monitor. Sometimes there are some problems with the serial port. You have to make sure it's the correct serial port. You upload it to Arduino. Okay, and in our serial monitor the distance will be printed. It changes if I approach something to the ultrasonic sensor, you see. Now I'm going to show you how to program a 3-pin ultrasonic sensor. It is quite simple. The only thing that changes is that you have just one pin, not a trigger pin and an echo pin. You have just one pin, ultrasonic pin, for example, and you have to declare that pin as output when you want to to send the signal, and you have to declare that ping as input when you want to receive the signal. So you cannot write those lines in the voice tab, but you have to do that in the void loop. First, we want to send the signal, so ping mode ultrasonic ping output to send the signal, and when we have already sent that signal, we have to set the ping as an input. So if we set up the ultrasonic ping as input, then we can use that ping to calculate with the pulse in statement the distance, the time the signal takes to travel. So there is a mistake. I have to change those variables. Echo ping, where is here? Okay, everything fine. Now I'm going to show you how I have connected the ultrasonic sensor. Here it is, the ultrasonic sensor connected to a protoboard, and my ultrasonic sensor has 4 pins. This is the ground pin, the echo pin, the trigger pin, and the power supply pin. You have just to connect the power supply pin to Arduino, the ground to Arduino 2, and the trigger pin and the echo pin to any pin, in any digital pin in the Arduino board.